Before I became a Christian, I lived my life like a tornado. Very damaging, violent, with no direction, and no purpose. When I was in high school, I felt an opportunity to give my life to Jesus, but I didn't know really who he was. I just understood who he was, and it made sense to me. God always had made sense to me. Just I didn't understand how I was supposed to live, and if I did, I ignored it and lived life exactly the way I wanted to. And God put a stop to that real quick. He commanded me to stop. I didn't have a choice, and I turned back and looked at the life that I had led the way I wanted to, and there was nothing but damage. There was no good thing about the way I lived my life.
Yes.
I called up Alex. I've been friends with Alex since just after high school, over 10 years. And I trusted him, so I called him actually looking for somebody else. And Alex talked to me for quite some time, and probably about 3 or 4 hours, and asked me to come to church with him. And I was a little reluctant, but I wanted to go. I was more or less tired of the catchphrases and gimmicks and the selling factor that a lot of churches, a lot of people use today. About 2 years ago, I had an abrupt stop to my lifestyle and pattern of living. And that was when God finally put a stop to the way that I was living my life. He put a stop to the alcohol. He put a stop to living violently. He put a stop to living with no direction and no purpose. And I was confused. For the first time in my life, I was extremely confused and afraid. I didn't know or understand God and what I was supposed to be doing, but I certainly knew what he was capable of doing to me, and I was afraid. I felt like, even though I was afraid, things were going to be okay. That I could trust in him, that he was trustworthy, and he was faithful no matter what I've done to forgive me. Alex and I began a Bible study, and I started to realize that I had turned over my life to Christ. I believed in him. I believed in what he did, but I didn't understand what he had already given me. That was the turning point. The joy of my salvation was what I really had needed. That's when my life started to take a turn. Since I started coming back to church, and I began to pray for wisdom and seek out who God was, not just seek comfort and salvation, but really to seek who he was and what he had in store for me. There has been so many blessings that I have noticed that I didn't notice before. There's a lot that I can say at this point. You know, I feel like I'm a better father to my children. There's lots of joy there. My 4-year-old daughter believes she's in the Lord's army, and it's immeasurable to me. My son is excelling in Awanas. He reads better. He does better in regular school. He's progressing, and he believes in Jesus. That is priceless to me. I want to be baptized because I want to be more obedient to God. I want to take the first step of obedience and continue on. I want that bond, and that is there with baptism.